Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. This is a Sunday update instead of a Saturday update. I was raking leaves yesterday and recovering from my work on my Chevy pickup. You know, I guess we'll start there. Anybody who's thinking of buying a new vehicle, and by new, I'm going to say anything that's newer than about 2015. That's an arbitrary number that I'm pulling from my wazoo, but it sounds good. The newer it is, the less you're going to be able to work on it. And my dumbass is starting to come to acceptance on that. I was stubborn. So I started getting and we're talking about my 2020 with the little 3-liter Duramax in it. Still love it. But boy, did it piss me off Friday night trying to work on that sucker. Started getting a buzzing noise. And the best comparison, if you're my age or older and you had an old wreck of a vehicle and you thought, man, I need a kicking stereo in that, even if it wasn't really kicking, you know what I'm getting at. You install that crap, tootling down the road, and as your RPMs change, you hear this bzzz in your radio because you don't have enough. That aftermarket stereo didn't have a good noise filter in it, and you didn't buy the little $10 add-in inline, you know. I started getting a noise like that, and I knew it wasn't the stereo. I mean, I knew that, but that's what it sounded like. I'm like, that's kind of weird. So, you know, start it up, get out. That sure sounds like it's coming from the engine. So what do? I go in, do some Googling, go to the forums. I'm like, two things that are coming up with a regular consistency. One is the hydraulic pump drive gear on the transmission, the 10-speed automatic transmission, which, yes, I'm aware of that recall that just came out on that. Not too impressed, but it hasn't seemed to have impacted that many vehicles yet. So at 64,000, I think I'm safe. But anyway, apparently this drive gear can loosen up somehow the retainer. I don't remember if it was a nut, whatever. And the gear can start to back off, and so you've got the gear only halfway meshed and makes a noise and eventually eats your transmission, and, you know, good stuff like that. I didn't want it to be that. The other one was the idler pulley, you know, just on your main drive. Okay, that doesn't sound so bad. So, again, walking around, listening real close, crawl under the truck, head next to the bell housing, there's nothing there. Like, okay, it's not the transmission. It's got to be that idler pulley. So, I did a little more Googling and all that. The wind is going to bang that door. And, okay, probably ought to do the tensioner. I mean, it's right there. That's not something I read about being a common failure, but I might as well do it. I'm going to be in there. Okay, how bad can it be? It's 2 more bolts. How bad can it be? Yeah. Okay. I got home at 4:30. Started shortly thereafter. And I got done at 10 p.m. 4:30 p.m. to 10:30 or to 10 p.m. And my AllData, I have a subscription, AllData, for that truck. 0.7 hours estimated. I'd like to meet the tech who can do that in 0.7 hours. Hell, if I could meet that guy, I'd have paid him for 2 hours and then sat on my ass for the other 3. You know what I mean? So they tell you to take the I'm going to show you the damage here. They tell you to take the top cover off that forms your kind of air dam to feed the air filter, and then the top shroud of the radiator, and you unclip some AC lines and you set them aside, and you unbolt your coolant reservoir tank and set it aside, and then you're supposed to have enough room to pull that cooling stack back to clear the fans and get in there and do all this work. Yeah. Well, again, if you're built like a 10-year-old, that might work. If you're not, you come away with some more wounds and scratches all up and down your arms as you're trying to reach in there and out. My hand is still swollen from where I bone bruised the hell out of it. Yeah. Unimpressed, but I beat it. I got the son of a gun. So, was it worth it? No. No. No, I absolutely should have called the local Chevy dealer up and scheduled an appointment, and then sat in their waiting room and drank their nasty coffee while they replaced it for me. And if that part ever fails again, that's exactly what's going to happen. So it turns out, I'm glad I did that extra bit of Googling, because the idler actually wasn't as bad as the tensioner. So this has a set of thrust washers on it, so those are what's rattling, but if I hold the bolt tight, little loose, okay? Now, Mr. Tensioner pulley. Hear how rough that sounds? So when I drove it today, I'm like, oh my god, I got my quiet truck back. Oh, those Duratrack tires are still howling like a pack of wolves. We'll deal with this later. It doesn't sound like bzzz as it's shifting through about 4th gear, and then the tire noise was drowning it out after that. So, and that serpentine belt, even so, standing on a stool, leaning over everything, I even managed to bruise my freaking sternum. Yeah, no more. No more. That's the price of owning a newer vehicle. So, anyway. Alright. More fun, more important. You know what, I'll just put an image on the screen in here somewhere that it makes sense. I have been watching a lot of parts down in San Francisco on eBay, and like, this is too good to be true. It's 2 pallets. You can see that if I put the picture up like I said I was going to. Hint, hint, reminder, that's for me. Like, okay, you know, I looked at the list, partial inventory that was put up, and that's a very partial. I mean, 7 or 8 pages of manila, you know, ruled paper. There's no way it captures 2 pallets stacked like that of parts. And I know there's going to be a bunch of junk in there that, and by junk I mean parts I can't sell, can't identify. Yeah, you know, old pump parts or pump seals that I've got 400 of already. I'm not going to keep that stuff. I don't need any more of that. I don't know. What I do know is there's going to be plenty of chainsaw stuff and other stuff in there that is still applicable to the hobby. So, I just looked, because I forgot. I went over to my mom's this morning, like normal, on Sundays, and hung out with her for a number of hours, and then came home and started dealing with House of Homelight, and yeah. But I'm looking on my phone right now. Well, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm giving you guys a screenshot, so you already know this. No one bid against me, and the opening bid was 99 cents. I don't know. I'm going to wait to... I will pay the seller this afternoon, and then I will definitely make contact with them again. I know it's a legit business that's gone out in San Francisco. I can find them on Facebook. Like I say, it's a legit business, and I even find them referenced in old Homelight literature that I have from the... I think that document was produced in the mid-'80s. A list of servicing Homelight dealers. So that gives me a good, solid idea of what's there. Now, they don't ship. Okay, so, you know, before I had dropped in a bid, I Google Map, okay, 5.5 hours. Huh, I can do that. I can get down there and back in a day. A long day, but I can do it. So, provided that this seller isn't going to be pissed that, something opened at 99 cents and sold for 99 cents, that much stuff on eBay. I'm going to go down there and pick that stuff up in about a week and a half. So I had made contact with them last week, and I got a very quick response. It was not an AI generated response. It was through eBay. It was legit, saying, "Oh yeah, that time frame sounds good. Good luck on the bid, this and that." Maybe they'll just be happy to be getting rid of this stuff and not have to throw it away. If it all comes together, I will take some extra cash down, and at least a token method of trying to make it right, because I wouldn't list it at that, but again, maybe they just wanted to get rid of the stuff. So anyway, my plan there, that's a lot of crap. And my wife, I showed her a couple days ago, and she's like, "Where are you going to put all that crap?" Yeah, I know. Aha, the kids don't use their treehouse that I built them anymore. Boom. It's not a real treehouse. It's only 4 steps up in there. Literally, they don't use it. It was a playhouse, and yeah, I spent a lot of time on it. They got 4 or 5 years out of using it, and that's probably about all a parent can expect. So now it's just sitting there. It doesn't leak. I built that thing. It was when I first read Alone in the Wilderness, the Chronicle of Dick Prenneke and his first year in Alaska. If you have not read that, you can get the anniversary edition on Amazon still. Pick it up and read it. I've read it probably 30 times. It draws you in. It's fun. Anyway, I just read that, and like, man, I can build a log cabin. Okay. I didn't do anything like his, anything at all. I was buying crap at Home Depot, but you know what? It was cool. The kids, yeah, it's cool. So I will store every last box of that stuff in there and then start going through it. And like I say, stuff that I know I just can't do anything with is going to get hauled down to the dump. I might reach out to Riverside Pump. They bought the pump division from Homelight, I believe, at bankruptcy. No, that wasn't. I should not. No, I'm mixing McCulloch and Homelight up. When John Deere sold Homelight to, at that time, I believe it was Genfeng Industries, to China. I believe that was when that division was sold off, the pumps. And Riverside Pump, their website was still active the last time I went there. So, I don't know, maybe they can use some of that kind of stuff. If it's, again, a bunch of seals and crap that I already have a ton of in stock. I just don't have the room around here anymore to keep adding to a collection of stuff that is super, super slow to sell. I've got 2 boxes, that one up there being one of them, devoted to Jacobson stuff. That box comes off the shelf about 3 times a year. I don't know. I've got to start making some smarter decisions, or more strategic decisions, on what I keep on hand and what I don't. It's awesome to get an email from a guy, "Oh man, I can't believe I found this." But if I've been sitting on that part for literally 10 years, if I was paying a lease, which I guess I kind of am to the bank, that's a different issue, but you know what I mean? If I was leasing a shop somewhere and storing all this stuff, that $10 part would have cost me a whole lot more in storage after 10 years. You know what I mean? So, just some things I've got to work through. No big deal. So yeah, that should be a nice infusion of chainsaw parts. Now, on that list, I saw a conspicuous lack of pistons, carburetors, coils, cylinders. So I don't know if that just means that area of stuff was what was cataloged, stuff that would easily fit into little cardboard parts bins, and the bigger stuff from another area wasn't cataloged. That's possible. But I am cautious on that. That's part of why the max bid that I put in was low enough that even if it was all small parts, which would be hard to imagine in 2 pallets, but if it was all small parts with a bunch of slow-moving crap or stuff that I can't even use, even accounting for my time driving down and back and fuel and renting a U-Haul trailer and all that other crap, I could still make some money on it. So, because that is kind of what this is about. Yes, it's my hobby. Yes, it helps fund my hobby, but in reality, if I don't clear enough to pay for the website domain, pay for the shipping supplies, all that other kind of stuff that is integrated in there, you just don't do it anymore when it doesn't pay. So, we'll see. But that was kind of, I guess that's a good segue. I'm finishing up a lot that I picked up on eBay. It was one large box, about the size of a 33-gallon trash can, give or take. And the description of it was, as pulled from the dealer's shelves, has not been picked. Okay. Now, I have found a lot of good stuff in there. I am in no way griping about this. But once again, in that lot, there is a conspicuous lack of pistons, cylinders, coils, carburetors. There's no handlebars. Very few body parts. The body parts that are there are Super 2 starters. There's a lower shroud for a 330. There's some XL98 drive case covers. Okay. Not garbage, but not high dollar items. Not the kind of stuff. There are no isolators for a 650 or 750. There's no handlebars for a Super 1050. There's no throttle handle for a 2100. There's no pistons, no cylinders. I don't even know if I've come across more than 4 or 5 piston rings total. So, not picked. That one's tougher. It's possible all that stuff sold out. It's possible that whoever had whatever person owned it before whomever I bought it from, if that was a shop, they simply had a website and sold all that stuff off, or maybe they sold it all locally. It's possible. It's possible, but more and more, I'm thinking that those good old days of a truly unpicked lot where a dealer just said, you know what, today's Friday, I'm done, and walks away, and somebody finds it 10 years later and goes, oh crap, let's sell this whole thing, box it up. I don't have time, just box it up. I mean, one of the first ones I bought from Vermont, I mean, there was so much. I think there were 20 of the 70618 bar plate kits for the Super XL 925. There were 10 chain brake bands for a 360. You know, there were quantities that made it clear and items that made it clear, yeah, this has not been gone through. No one came through and went, that'll sell, that'll sell, that'll sell, I don't want to deal with the rest of this crap. I think those are getting a lot harder to find, and I'm going to be really interested to see if this stuff from Frisco, assuming that I get it, this stuff from Frisco holds true to that, or if I find some of those things in there. I mean, it's perfectly reasonable to think that a 40-year-old business that had Homelight, and they most recently were selling Husqvarna, and it looked like they had Briggs & Stratton and a lot of other things too. But it's really reasonable to think that they would have, you know, piston and cylinder on the shelf for Super XL, XL12, 925, you know, that kind of stuff. And yes, some of it would have sold after all this time, but not all of it. There would still be even a coil, electronic ignition coil conversion kit for a 150 in there. Maybe a Sten's coil for a Super EZ, the blue module. You know, that kind of stuff should be mixed into these lots, and I guess that's what I'm getting at, is I'm seeing that less and less. I think more and more of that stuff, that even when someone claims that it hasn't been gone through, they've already dumped the high dollar fast moving stuff on eBay, and then the other stuff that's, you know, the $10 to $20 items, I just don't have time for it. Which, that's how I built my business, was on the stuff that people didn't have time for. The high dollar stuff is actually the icing on the cake when I get that stuff in. A, it's good for you guys, because when you're looking for it, you find it. And again, you know, it's good for me because a few extra bucks is never a bad thing. It helps fund that next purchase. So that was a long rant. I think I went to most of the places that that I was going to on that. So stay tuned. If this all goes through, like I think it will, I think I'll head down on the 26th of November. I say today, I know I already read the date once, but it's Sunday and I'm not at work, so I don't give a snarf what 17th. So yeah, roughly 10 days from now, I would head down and back in the same day. And that would be one hell of a birthday gift. I turned 45 on November 27th, which is Wednesday, so that would certainly be the most interesting, I think, birthday gift I've ever had. Man, I wish old Jim, Dozer Dude, I wish he was around for this, because he and I had gone in on that. Number one, it would have been a lot easier to schlep half that crap off on someone else. And that's what we do. We bought 3 or 4 good-sized lots together. Some of them got shipped here. One of them we went all the way to southern Washington to pick up. But we would come back, and in a day or two, you know, whenever we both had time, we'd sit down and just open a box. And we'd have 2 boxes. There's the Jim box, there's the Leon box. And we, oh yeah, I can use that. Oh, I can use that. Hey, can I have that and you have that? It was fun. I miss those days. I do miss those days. So, yeah. No, it's just going to be one box. It's going to be the damn treehouse. And I'll go through it a little bit at a time. So, yeah. That's going on. The tractor. I'm stumped. I put a whole different magneto on it, and it's still acting the same way. And I'm stumped. I cannot get it to start. It'll fire and just die. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what's wrong. And it's such a simple 4-cylinder carbureted engine. It is so simple. And I'm sure whenever I figure it out, I'm either going to be smacking myself in the face with a 2x4 because I was so dumb to overlook it, or it's going to be some of the most oddball crap that no one's ever heard of. I say I've rebuilt the carb. I know the mag is good. I know it has compression. I know it has spark. I mean, I even took the intake manifold back off just on the off chance that I was on glue and forgot to take the paper towels out of it that I had put in there when I was painting it. Like, could I have been that dumb? Well, no, I wasn't, thankfully. But it's like, I don't know what the hell the deal is. So, we're into fall. It's raining right now. We've had, last week was a good inch of rain at this end of the Rogue Valley. About a half an inch just in the last 24 hours. So, I'm pretty much done working on the tractor this year. I'll have to pick it up in the spring again. And I don't know if I'm going to bring it down to the house here and try and work on it. It'd be a lot more convenient to have it here where I've got all my tools, and if I think of something I can just run and grab it or do it and not have to wait until the next Saturday that I go up the hill when I need to be cutting wood instead of working on that. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Yeah, that's about all that's new. Like I say, we're heading into the holiday season. We're not far from Thanksgiving. And that'll mean we'll be heading up in the hills to do Christmas tree hunting. That's an important thing. If I can make that day work, I haven't. I think the last time that I fired the Henry 45 Colt lever action was a year ago when my wife and I were up there hunting Christmas trees and hunting beer cans. And I've since put a scope on it that needs sighted in, so I'd kind of like to do that. That'd be fun. 45 Colt ammunition isn't cheap, but God, is it fun. Is it fun. And I've got the a Cimarron revolver. It's a reproduction, of course, in the same caliber, and oh my goodness. That is wild. That is fun to shoot. So, anyway, that kind of fun stuff is coming up. Doing a few repairs, very few. Did a couple carburetors I didn't put on video. They were HLs. no big deal. I've got a, what is that, a McCulloch 3216 that I've been working on for a guy that works at where I am at. Needs a carb kit, and they have been slow to get that here, but I think I've got everything else ready to go. He'd had it apart to put new hoses in. It's real easy to get the kill switch wires pinched inside of the case, where instead of in the groove back here, and that's what had happened. So it was jamming up the throttle linkage, and yeah, all kinds of jacked up for him. The new calendars are in. Look for those on the website. Hopefully, if I'm smart, I'll get them posted before I post this video. Yeah, I'll try to do that. It's good. I struggled. I barely bought enough saws in 2020, late 2023, and up through summer of 24 to fill out a calendar, but I squeaked it in. So you're going to see more non-home light than you would normally see in there, but that's just a reflection again of what I bought and what hasn't already made an appearance. But at some point I'm going to have to recycle saws and go back and take some different use different pictures for some of these things, and I don't know, maybe we'll come up with themed years. I don't know what. I don't know. Good news, calendars I think went down. I think I'm going to be able to drop them by about $1 this year. I know that's not a lot, but there have been a few things that I've actually seen the prices come down on just a little bit. It's like, ooh, okay, all right, that's good. And I caught a really good sale. A really good sale at, was it Rare Fish? I should remember the name of the site, but I used to use Vistaprint for everything, and boy, during the pandemic, they just shot up in price. I'd be selling calendars at $25 a pop if I bought them through there, and I wouldn't make a dime on them. So anyway, this is long enough. I'm going to save my last topic for a different video, and I'm not going to do it today, but I want to do every year I like to do a little reflection of where the hobby is at, and where, just where I think things are going. I don't know anything. I'm just some jackass in his garage here in Phoenix, Oregon, but, just give you my view looking out of where things are going. But like I say, this one's long enough, so we'll tackle that another day. Maybe next weekend we'll do that. So, hope you all are doing great, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.